Hey there, in today's video I wanted to point out my top 5 favorite hikes that I've made videos about in the northern Utah area. I'm going to talk about how to get there and what to expect. So I've been making hiking videos for just over a year now. And the purpose was to get out and show some of the lesser known hikes in the area where I live, which is northern Utah. It's been a lot of fun to get out, bump shoulders with fellow hikers, and even be recognized from time to time as, hey, you're that hiking guy, or you're that guy that does hiking videos. So it's made me feel like I'm serving some sort of purpose because people are getting out and exploring some of the hikes that I've done. So in this video, like I said at the top of it, I want to highlight the top 5 of my favorite hikes that I've done in the past year. The first video I want to highlight is called The Ramp. Now, it's called The Ramp because it cuts diagonally up a cliff face and also provides access to some pretty decent rock climbing. Now, I'm not a rock climber myself, but I can appreciate those steep, sheer cliffs as people grapple up the face of them. But for me, when I hike, I like to enjoy the views, and this provides a perfect view of the city of Ogden, Utah, where I live. So let's take a look at that video and I'll tell you how to get there and what to expect. In my video, I start out in Thomas Park, which is in between 20th and 21st Street, just off of Buchanan. But if you're driving, I'd recommend starting out at the 22nd Street trailhead. So follow the trails east up to the Bonneville Shoreline Trail. Then as you cut south, look for a sign that says Schoolroom Climbing Access Area. That's going to lead you directly to the base of the ramp. Just follow the narrow trail to the foot of the ramp, and with a slight scramble, you'll be on it. The trail up the ramp is wide, but there's a decent drop off to the right hand side, so make sure that your footing is nice and stable with every step you take. Expect a decent incline as you make your way up the trail. I'd expect this lasts for about 3/4 of a mile. You'll know you're at the top of the ramp once you see this big boulder. Once you're there, spend some time enjoying the scenery and appreciate the physical exertion it took to get to that point. Depending on the time of year, you'll see a lot of lizards, some ground squirrels, and maybe even some mountain goats. I would rate this hike as moderate. So that was the ramp. I hope by watching that video it makes you want to go check it out. This next hike isn't actually an official hike. It's more of a scramble up a ridgeline to check out a seasonal waterfall that doesn't happen every year. So you kind of got to do your research to be able to check this out and catch it at the right time. What it is a seasonal waterfall that comes down Jump Off Canyon. This one I teamed up with my buddy Josh and his dog Annie, and we scrambled to the top. It got really windy as a storm rolled in, but we were able to fly our drones and get some decent views of the waterfall. I'll do my best to explain how to get there, but if anything, you can watch the video to see what we experienced. We parked our cars in front of Frank's Auto. From there we headed east on an access road up to the Pipeline Road. From there we found this trailhead that we followed south that led us partway up the ridge, but the rest of the way was a scramble. You'll know you're on the right trail if you're following the crest of this ridge. As you make your way up to the top, you'll come to a flattened area that resembles a big meadow. As we hiked up the mountainside further, we were rewarded with this awesome view. Again, remember this waterfall is seasonal. We were up there around the middle of May, and it was after a pretty decent winter. If you try this hike anytime later than May, then chances are you won't see the waterfall. So that hike was more of a scramble up to the overlook of the seasonal waterfall that runs down Jump Off Canyon. I would rate that as a hard hike. All right, this next one is one of my favorite places to go check out, but also one of the spookiest places that I've been. It's the Hidden Mineshaft up the Hidden Valley Trail. To make your way up to the Hidden Valley Trail, you'll actually start out going on the Indian Trail and then cutting off to get up to Hidden Valley. It's a well-documented hike, so if you use the app like All Trails, then you'll know exactly how to get there. But you don't want to go all the way up to Hidden Valley to get to this hike. Once on the Hidden Valley Trail, you'll start your first steep incline. Once you hit the top of that incline, then you come to a grassy area off to your left-hand side. Keep an eye out to the left because you'll see a barely worn-in trail that will lead straight up the mountainside to the east. Follow that trail up the grassy hillside through a grove of trees, and you'll come out on the other end to the mouth of this mine. Now, if you're gonna do this one, make sure you bring a buddy. If you don't feel comfortable, don't go in, and bring plenty of light, because at the end of this mine is actually a really deep hole. And why this is my favorite is because we lowered some lights and some cameras down there to check out what was at the bottom of this hole. The nice thing about doing this hike in the summer is that the mine provides you with a nice cool temperature from that blazing summer sun. You'll follow the mine shaft back about 30 to 50 yards, and that's where you'll find the deep pit. My friend Clinton and I did this hike and we were uncomfortable getting close to the edge. So we used some paracord and a GoPro to lower it down to the bottom of the pit. I would say getting up to this mine is moderate in difficulty. Once you get up there though, you can feel that cool breeze coming out of the mine, so you're gonna be tempted to go in. There are a lot of leaves in the opening of that mine, so check your surroundings for rattlesnakes. In all my hiking around up there, I've only seen one rattlesnake, but you can never be too careful. While we're on the subject of holes in the sides of mountains, this next hike is to an actual cave in the northern Utah, Ogden area. It's called Garner Cave and it's a limestone cave, and I had no idea how to get up there. So I had a couple of people reach out to me through social media that were kind of my guides. And because of the power of social media, I made some really good new friends. That's what going on these adventures is all about, is meeting new people and seeing new scenery. So this hike actually started out in the exact same spot as the overlook to Jump Off Canyon did. You follow the access road up, but instead of walking along that crest of the ridge, you walk to the east of it or to the left of it. There's a decent trail that leads you up through the draw. As you go up, you're going to want to keep an eye out for the turnoff to the cave. Now this cave is called Garner Cave, and once you get to the base of it, then you actually have a little rock wall that you have to scale to get up inside. If you're afraid of heights and claustrophobic, then this is definitely not the hike for you. Once you get inside the cave, keep an eye out for a little critter off to the left-hand side. From what I've been told, that critter and its family has lived there for years and years. Now the opening to the cave is pretty narrow, but once you get past it, then you can stand up. You'll make your way past some old stalactites and stalagmites, but this cave has been visited for many years, so unfortunately there is damage. You can go pretty deep into the cave and there's actually multiple routes. My shoes were pretty slick, so I actually chickened out and sent my new friends Garrett and Drew deeper into the abyss. Supposedly, as you keep going deeper, there's some caverns that open up into big rooms and others that just get narrow and small. If you're gonna do this hike, don't do it alone, and it's recommended that you bring somebody who knows what they're doing. These two had both been in this cave before, so I trusted them and everyone came out safely. So that's Garner Cave. It was a lot of fun, but very claustrophobic. I would rate that one as a hard. Even to get to the mouth of the cave was pretty difficult. But if you're into that sort of thing, I'd be sure to check it out. Now this next and final hike was probably my favorite hike because it ties in some history along with some beautiful views. Just before the turn of the 19th century, there was a big resort that was built in an area known as Malins Basin, named after Tim Malin. Now this resort was said to have hosted presidents and dignitaries alike, and the fact that this resort was built at 7,000 feet above sea level, right around the turn of the 19th century, seems like a pretty remarkable feat. They cut a narrow wagon road into the side of the mountain, up over Malin's Peak, and then back down into the basin. They chopped lumber and hauled a big steam boiler that heated the resort. And my goal was to find that boiler. I didn't have any idea of the exact location, I just knew the general area. So I'm gonna show you how to find it. To get up to Malins Basin, you start out by doing the Malin Peak hike. Again, this is a well-documented hike, so if you have all trails, it'll show you exactly how to get there. But you start out at the 29th Street trailhead. Once you're up on top of Malins Peak, enjoy the view of Ogden and also enjoy the view of Mount Ogden directly to the east of you. You'll notice a little trail that cuts along the south side of the ridge. You'll follow that all the way into a meadow. It's about a mile from the top of Malins Peak. Once you get down into Malins Basin, you'll know you're there because you'll see this placard that tells you about the resort. Take some time to read it. The history is pretty fascinating. Now, as you're facing that placard, looking east towards Mount Ogden into the basin, off of your right shoulder at about a 45-degree angle, turn around and walk 200 to 300 feet. And you'll basically walk right into the steam boiler. Now I've met lots of people that have been into Malins Basin who have never seen the boiler. And if you didn't know what you're looking for, you could walk right past it every single time. But once you find it, it's really cool. There's a lot of history that you can find out about that boiler. You can read the name of the company who built it and exactly how heavy it is. So if you're like me and you love history, then that hike is definitely for you. I'd rate that one as a moderate as well. It was really fun to go up in the fall. I have the snow on the mountain peaks and the changing of the leaves down in that meadow, and just discovering that boiler was awesome. Anyway, that's it for my top 5 favorite hikes so far. There's definitely plenty more to explore. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you'll go check out some of these hikes that we talked about, and be sure to check out the rest of my channel, because even though I just talked about 5 hikes, there's a lot of hikes for you to discover that I've documented. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like it. Also comment, because if there's any hikes that I haven't done in this area that you think I should check out, then I want to know about them and I want to document them. And of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And thank you for those who already have. As always, have a great rest of your week. Peace.